This is a quiet reminder. Sometimes life feels like you're standing in the middle of a giant, sprawling map, but every single road, every pathway, every destination is just a blur. You open your eyes in the morning, and before the sun even has a chance to fully rise, the question hits you like a silent, heavy wave. Where do I even go from here? The weight of it settles in, not with a crash, but with a slow, creeping stillness that fills the room. It's a question that doesn't demand an immediate answer, yet its presence is undeniable, a constant companion in the quiet moments of the day. You feel the vastness of the world around you, the infinite possibilities that are supposed to feel liberating, but instead, they feel paralyzing. Each potential path seems shrouded in an impenetrable mist, and the map you were so sure you once held is now just a blank piece of paper in your hands. The compass you thought you could always rely on just spins and spins, its needle unable to find a true north. And so you just stand there, in the center of it all, waiting for a direction, for a sign, for something, anything to point the way. It's not dramatic. It's not a loud theatrical breakdown that the world can see and understand. It's not a grand cinematic crisis with a clear beginning and end. No, this feeling is much quieter, much more subtle. It's that quiet confusion that lingers in your chest, a gentle ache that you can't quite put your finger on. It's the kind of feeling that makes you feel like you're drifting on a calm, endless ocean with no land in sight. You're just waiting patiently for a sign, a distant lighthouse, a single star to guide you, but the sign never seems to come. The sky remains starless, the horizon empty. It's the silent hum of uncertainty that plays in the background of your thoughts. The feeling of being untethered, floating without an anchor in the vast, deep waters of your own life. You go through the motions of your day, you wake up, you work, you talk to people, but beneath the surface, there's a profound sense of disconnection, as if you're watching your own life from a distance, a spectator in a story you're supposed to be writing. This quiet confusion doesn't scream for attention. It whispers, and its whispers are persistent, echoing in the stillness of the night and the hollow moments in between. You look around, and it feels like everyone else has received their instructions, their own personal, hand-drawn map. Everyone seems to know their next step with such unshakable certainty. You scroll through your feed, you talk to friends, and you hear about their new jobs, their exciting promotions, their ambitious new goals. They're talking about new plans, new relationships, new cities they're moving to. They're all moving forward, their lives a series of confident, decisive strides. Their momentum is palpable, a force of nature that seems to carry them effortlessly toward their dreams. Meanwhile, you feel like you're stuck in a dense, chilling fog, the world moving on without you. The sounds of their progress fade into the distance, and you're left standing still, wondering with a growing sense of panic if you're falling behind. It's a deeply isolating feeling, this sense that you're the only one who didn't get the memo, the only one left at the starting line while the race has already begun. You watch them celebrate their milestones, and a quiet, nagging question forms in your mind. What am I doing wrong? Why can't I see the path that seems so clear to everyone else? And then the pressure builds. It starts as a low rumble and grows into a deafening roar inside your own head. It's the pressure to have it all figured out, to present a life that looks polished, complete, and successful to the outside world. It's the pressure to move faster, to keep up with the relentless pace of those around you, a pace that feels faster than your own heart can possibly handle. You feel an immense crushing weight to know all the answers, even when the questions themselves don't make any sense. Society whispers and sometimes shouts that by a certain age, you should have a certain career, a certain kind of life, a certain level of certainty. You're expected to have a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan, a blueprint for a future that you can't even begin to imagine. This pressure doesn't just come from the outside, it comes from within. You become your own harshest critic, demanding a level of clarity and perfection that is simply unattainable. The pressure to choose the right path becomes so intense that you end up choosing no path at all, frozen by the fear of making the wrong move. And in that deafening silence, surrounded by the fog of your own uncertainty, you start to believe a dangerous lie. You start to believe that being lost means being broken. You convince yourself that not knowing your direction, your purpose, your next step is a fundamental sign that you failed. The narrative you tell yourself becomes a story of inadequacy. You see your confusion not as a temporary state, but as a permanent flaw in your character. The feeling of being adrift is no longer just a feeling. It becomes your identity. You start to think, there must be something wrong with me. Everyone else can figure it out, so why can't I? This belief takes root and grows, its branches wrapping around your sense of self-worth, choking the hope that things could ever be different. You internalize the societal expectation for constant progress and equate stillness with failure. The silence that was once just quiet confusion now feels like an indictment, a judgment on your very being. You start to hide your uncertainty, ashamed of a perfectly human experience, believing that to admit you are lost is to admit you are less than. But here's the truth, the one that you need to hold on to, the one that can be your anchor in this vast, foggy sea. You don't have to know everything right now. You don't need to have the entire journey mapped out from beginning to end. Life, in its infinite wisdom, doesn't demand a perfect, flawless plan from you. It doesn't ask for omniscience or a pre-written script. What it asks for, what it truly requires, is something far more profound, something far more real. It asks for your courage. It asks for your willingness to show up, even when you don't know where you're going. It asks you to be present in the messy, uncertain, and often uncomfortable middle, without needing to know how the story ends. The universe isn't testing your ability to predict the future. It's inviting you to participate in the present with all of its unknowns. There is no grand cosmic scoreboard tallying your progress against some predetermined timeline. There is only this moment and the choice you have within it. It asks for the courage to take one small, single step. Not a giant leap, not a sprint toward a distant finish line, but one intentional movement forward, however small it may seem. It asks for the courage to breathe deeply and slowly through the fog, to let the air fill your lungs even when the path ahead is obscured. It asks for the courage to trust in yourself, to trust in the process, to trust that clarity will not arrive like a sudden lightning strike, but will come in its own time, gently, like the morning sun slowly burning away the mist. This courage is not the absence of fear. It is the act of moving forward in spite of it. It's the quiet resolve to put one foot in front of the other, even when you can't see the ground beneath you. It's the whisper of a promise you make to yourself, I will keep going. It's finding the strength to simply be with the uncertainty, to allow it to exist without letting it consume you. Because being lost is not failure. It is not a verdict on your worth or a sign of your inadequacy. It is a fundamental, necessary, and often beautiful part of the journey. It's the space in between chapters, the quiet pause before the music begins again. It's the sacred ground where patience is cultivated, where it learns to grow in the soil of the unknown. It's the crucible where true strength is discovered, Not the strength to have all the answers, but the strength to sit with the questions. It is in the heart of being lost that you learn to listen again, to tune out the noise of the world and hear the quiet, steady voice of your own intuition, your own soul. It's an invitation to slow down, to reconnect with the person you are beneath all the layers of expectation and pressure. It's a time for discovery, for exploring the inner landscapes that you were too busy to notice when you were racing ahead. It's not an ending. It's a beginning in disguise. You don't need the whole map. You don't need to see every turn, every landmark, every single mile of the road ahead. You just need the courage to take the next step. Just one, and then another, and another. That is all that is ever asked of you. This was a quiet reminder